Well, I want to thank everyone for coming this afternoon. I'm Senator Jeff Klein, and I'm proud to be joined by my colleague, Senator David Valesky from Central New York, Senator Malcolm Smith from Queens, Senator David Carlucci from Rockland and Westchester County. I know we're expecting some of my other colleagues when we actually have our roundtable. We're here today on a very, very important issue, and I first want to thank our honored guest here today, first former Major League Baseball player and outfielder Jose Canseco, Leanne and Michael Sparling, founders of the Michael Lee Sparling Foundation, Dr. Peter Cohn of Harvard Medical School and Cambridge Health Alliance, Coach Pat Dixon of St. John's University basketball team, attorneys Ann Andrews and Sean Higgins, and Dr. Amy Eichner of the United States Anti-Doping Agency, Ed Wasamaya of the NSF International, and of course Greg Mahler, Cornell Health Nutrition Society, a Cornell student, and it was Greg who originally talked to us about this issue and how it affected young people on his college campus. We're here to talk about DMAA and really all of these diet supplements that are out there each and every day, and what we're finding is individuals, mostly young people, are looking for that quick fix. They're athletes, they want to be stronger, they want to run faster, so they fall prey to the advertising campaign that goes on constantly to take these supplements. Just in the way of background, my office conducted an investigation earlier in the year where we found that even though the FDA is examining various incidents that took place, which in some cases caused death, companies like GNC, as well as the Vitamin Shoppe, are still selling this product, still selling various products that contain DMAA. My office went into these stores, confronted salespeople who sold it and basically said there was nothing wrong with even someone as young as 14 in taking these supplements. Well, I think it has to end, and I think what we're doing here today is trying to put a human face on a national problem. First, I want to talk about the fact, and we welcomed them earlier, Leanne and Michael Sparling, who've come all the way from California to join in our efforts here today. Nearly 2 years ago, Leanne and Michael's son, also named Michael, was a private in the Army stationed at Fort Bliss. Early in the morning of June 2011, before heading out for physical training with his unit, Michael took the recommended dose of JAK 3D, an over-the-counter dietary supplement containing what is commonly called, as I said, DMAA. During his routine run, Michael went into cardiac arrest and suffered a number of related conditions that immediately took his life, all of which doctors later concluded were directly caused by injecting JAK 3D. I want to thank Leanne and Michael for the courage and strength that they've shown. They could have, walked away, but what they're doing is they're using their memory of their son to make sure this doesn't happen to other young people across the country, and I really want to thank them for their courage. Their foundation, I'm certain, is going to save lives. But today I think we're sending a very, very important message that this won't be tolerated. If you look at the history of these types of dietary supplements, we had some very, very bad examples. I think most of you maybe would remember in the early 90s, ephedra. Ephedra was probably the most deadly supplement ever sold across our country. It took far too long to ban, many deaths until they finally actually banned ephedra. And what DMAA is really ephedra reincarnated and nothing else. So I think we have to act quickly in New York. We can't let the FDA drag their feet until they actually decide to ban this drug. And again, if you look at history, New York actually banned ephedra a year before the federal government acted, thus saving lives. So I think today we're sending a very important message. Today we're fighting back. Today we are putting manufacturers on notice. We will no longer allow you to use the loosely regulated supplement industry as a way to profit at the expense of our children's lives. I think what they're doing is nothing but a backdoor way to just peddle drugs to our young people, and I think it has to stop. So it's my pleasure to first introduce Ann Andrews, the attorney for the Sparling family, who will introduce Leanne and Michael.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you, members of the press, for covering this important issue. I couldn't say it better that this is ephedrine all over again. My firm has been litigating these cases involving dangerous dietary supplements since 1998, when people could not believe that an herbal supplement could kill or destroy a life. We've represented military families like the Sparlings, and now, after all the years of fighting that dietary supplement to push it off the shelves, we're confronted with a new product, an even more dangerous product. And I brought the Sparlings at Senator Klein's invitation to talk to you and to talk in a roundtable forum about what they've gone through and what the plans are for the hope of the future, to educate, to bring bills forward, to ban these products. And we're from California, so we've come a long way, and under these gracious invitations, to thank you for your leadership in this. And we really hope that this state shows the leadership that it has in the past. And we'll be taking this bill back to our state and be sure that we're the next state. Thank you so much. With that, I'd like to introduce my clients, Leanne and Michael Sparling.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Klein. Thank you for all coming today. Our son, Michael, was a United States Army soldier. He had always wanted to be in the military, and when he finally went in, it was with our full support. He always wanted to be the best he could be, and he felt that if he took this Jack 3D, it would help him achieve that. Michael told me that when he started taking this supplement, that he was told it was safe and natural. I have since found out that it was not. On June 1st, 2011, our world was turned upside down. We understood the risk of being a military family and having that car come up, and they get out of that car and tell us that our son was killed overseas. We never could imagine that I would receive a phone call early in the morning saying that my son had collapsed doing a routine PT run and he had suffered a heart attack. He was an amazing young man that the military has lost because he would have been a true leader. He showed it during basic training. And because of this supplement, my family has been given a life sentence. He is no longer with us. He is no longer able to play with his siblings. We will not get the chance to see his face as his bride walks down the aisle to him. We will not get that chance of seeing him hold his children for the very first time, because that was taken away from us. And it's time right now for this to change. This is our boy. This could very well be one of your children. I'm in hopes today that there's going to be great change and that it will continue on, because we do not want another family to suffer what we have to suffer every single day for the rest of our lives. I thank you for being here and listening. Thank you.
Next up, one of my colleagues in the Independent Democratic Conference, Senator David Volesky.
Thank you, Senator Klein, for organizing this important forum that we're about to partake today, particularly now, when a lot of important issues are taking place here in the Capitol with our budget process, but Senator Klein has been focused like a laser on this issue for the last several weeks and, in fact, couple of months. I simply am here as Senator Klein indicated, a member of the Independent Democratic Conference and a state senator at that, but more importantly than that, as a father of 3 sons. And I want to say to Leanne and Michael, certainly all of us in this room who are parents are sympathizing and empathizing with what you have gone through. My 3 boys are athletic. They participate in organized sports, as I know that your son did, and that's very important to them, and it's very important to my wife and me. So that we in government, when we have horrible tragedies like this happen, it's incumbent upon us to do something about it. And I'm very proud under Senator Klein's leadership to begin that process now to make sure that through these dietary supplements that the horrible tragedy that you both experienced will not happen to any other parents in New York State and hopefully eventually across the country. So thank you very much for your courage, and we appreciate your advocacy. Thank you.
Next up, Senator Malcolm Smith.
Thank you very much, Senator Klein, and again, thank you for your leadership on an issue that obviously needs to be addressed. Good to see my colleagues in the Senate here, Jose Canseco as well, an idol of mine from some years ago. More importantly, though, to Leanne and to Michael, thank you. And we appreciate all that you're doing. We appreciate your son. I had a chance to talk to Michael and Leanne earlier, and I told them they don't understand how many people in this state and country looks at their son as a hero. And you should know that. Many people do. And I was pretty shocked when Senator Klein a few months ago talked about DMAA and what it does as a supplement to one's life. It was pretty surprising. As an individual who represents an area where there are a lot of youngsters who look for an athletic profession, if you will, to sort of get out of that community and become heroes, this is something that is very detrimental to their future well-being. It's pretty shocking that you probably have more difficulty in New York getting a 32-ounce soda, and yet still you can buy DMAA over the counter. That's pretty sad when you think about it. I mean, we've got youngsters who would love to be the next LeBron James or even Kevin Durant. And the incentive that they give them now, financial incentives, is something that drives them, obviously, which is a challenge. It is sad that UK and Canada as well bans this. Our own military does not. I think what Senator Klein is doing here today is an idea whose time has long come. And clearly, we are prepared to do what is necessary. While Washington has not, and FDA seems to turn their head, we here in the state, under the Independent Democratic Conference, is going to lead as we have been. So to Senator Klein, again, I thank you for your leadership. You have taken on some very tough issues, and it takes a lot to do this. And to the family as well, this is not something that's going to end today. We're going to be on this for quite some time. And as you said earlier, Leanne, that you wanted your son to know that the world is going to know about this. Well, they're knowing about this today. Thank you very much.
Next up, Senator David Carlucci.
Thank you, Senator Klein. And I want to thank the Spaulding family. Thank you for your courage, for your commitment to making sure that the experiences that you went through, the tragedy of the loss of your son, that doesn't happen again. And that you traveled all the way from Sacramento to come here to Albany today to make sure that this is a priority, to make sure that we can learn from the lessons of the past and make sure that this doesn't happen again. And like was said before, we can't wait for Washington. We can't wait for the FDA. We have to act now here in New York State and do our part to prevent deaths from happening again. So I want to thank Senator Klein, thank Jose Canseco for coming out today, and most importantly, thank the Spaulding family for your courage to speak up and share your story so this doesn't happen again. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next up is someone so proud was able to join us today in our state capitol. He's been speaking about this issue. He's been an inspiration to young people, and he's also, I believe, an outstanding ball player. It's my pleasure to introduce Jose Canseco.
Thank you, Senator Klein. I'd like to send my condolences also to the family. I was behind here looking at the picture of the boy, and I'm not a very emotional person, but I'm telling you, I'm just kind of, okay. But here's the issue, is very simply, I train kids nowadays, actually anywhere from 15 to 30 years old. And when the main subject matters, they ask me, Mr. Canseco, what should we do? Because we want to become, better ball players. What supplements are there out there? And of course, the first thing I tell them is, do not touch steroids. They will completely ruin your life and ruin your career. So that's completely out. They understand that. Obviously, this DMAA is ephedra. That's all it really is. Even when I was a ball player, it was out in the market, and I never took it because I knew the dangers of it back then. And I think people have to understand the pressures that even kids have on them. I train kids anywhere from 12 years old to grown men of 30 years old, and whether it's their friends, their families, parents, just our society in general, they want to become the best athlete they possibly can become. They want to become the elite. They want to become the best. Also, they get kind of caught up in the salaries these athletes are making. The parents telling these kids, you work hard, you do everything you possibly can to get to whether it's the NBA, the baseball, football, whatever it may be. And these kids are willing to take risks because of those $100 million contracts. And I speak with them, tell them, listen, you have got to be careful what you put in your body. I'm starting to actually analyze. I used to be very big into supplements and realized that I did test a lot of different supplements, whether it be the liquid proteins, the multivitamins, the anti-aging things. Most of them do not work. It's kind of like a wide range of the things that don't work and the things that might very much hurt you. And there are a few of them out there. I think kids have to understand that. Make sure you read these prescriptions. There are a lot of young kids trying to get ahead. A lot of young kids will take any risk possible to get to where their idols are, to make that $100 million contract. Yes, they work hard. Yes, they incorporate nutrition and so forth, but they want that edge. They want that supplement. They want that magic pill. They want that magic drug. They want their thing that their friends tell them, okay, this will get you over the top. It'll get you over the edge. It'll make you that much more alert during an actual game. And these kids are looking at these supplements, especially the dietary supplements, which I think people have to understand. Dietary supplements actually work against you if you're not eating right or already dehydrated from certain events, whether it be physical or psychological. You have to be careful how you use these supplements, and you have to be careful what other supplements you use them with. A combination could be deadly. So I just want to kind of educate the young kids out there to understand that make sure you know what you're putting into your system. Make sure you know what you already have in your system, what you're interacting with. I think you have to understand that. And I definitely think that the ingredients in all these supplements have to be detailed. It has to show exactly what's in that supplement, what's in the chemical, what the chemical does, and how it interacts with other chemicals. So hopefully with some education, it'll help us some young kids out. Thank you.
Next up, Dr. Peter Cohn of Harvard Medical School and Cambridge. Dr. Cohn is the leading authority, and I think it's because of him in really making that comparison between DMAA and ephedra that we're really here today. He's been arguing against the usage of this, talking about the dangers, and I welcome him here today. Thank you very much, Doctor.
It's an honor being here today, but it's a small lift on my shoulders and a huge one for the Sparling family. I'm so proud of them to step out and share the story, Michael's story, with the world. And hopefully we'll see real change. It's not just, as Jose Canseco said, about the people who are striving to be future professional athletes. It's actually my patients, I'm a general internist, often take supplements just to feel good, be healthy, and work out on a regular day-to-day basis, thinking it's the right, natural, healthy thing to do. The disturbing thing about DMAA is that it's not natural, it's not from a plant, and it should never have been in supplements in the first place. Instead, it's been there for over 6 years. $100 million in sales in a single year, over 200 products with DMA in it, and it's taken the courage and the energy and the motivation of Senator Klein to try to reverse this trend and remove this product, which should never have been there in the first place, from the marketplace. I do not want to see, talking to Leanne and Mike is just too painful. And when I talk to my patients who suffer similarly from DMA, fortunately none of them have died, but have had panic attacks, chest pain, ended up in the emergency room. And then they find out that this was an ingredient that wasn't even supposed to be in supplements in the first place. That's a tragedy. And I'm delighted to be here to support Senator Klein in reversing that trend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, Dr. Amy Eichner of the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency.
Thank you so much. And Senator Klein, I can't thank you enough for this incredible leadership on this huge issue, because not only is there DMAA in dietary supplements, but there are a lot of other drugs, and I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we're all looking to you to set this first bill forward. You know, athletes a lot of times are the canary in the coal mine for all of those illegal drugs, steroids, and stimulants in dietary supplements, because the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency first learned about DMAA because athletes began testing positive. Unfortunately, we weren't able to gather this leadership would have been so welcome when those first athletes tested positive, because it may have prevented the ultimate tragedy that we've already suffered now. I'd just like to thank you again so much for this, and USADA fully supports this bill, and we hope that this is only one of a beginning of bills that go forward to help protect consumers and athletes. Thanks.
Next up is Ed Waizumala of the NSF International.
Thank you again, Senator Klein, for addressing this very, very important issue. And again, I extend my condolences to the Sparling family and for everything that you've had to go through, and for something that was highly preventable for a very long time. My organization does a lot of testing for sports supplements for all the different professional elite sporting organizations. And when DMAA first arose to the issue of a potential concern, it was about 4 years ago, and we still find this product on the market today. Where the regulations are written, this product does not fit. And that's why we need to push forth and have legislation like is being proposed here in New York State. Not just in New York State, but across all 50 states and with the national federal government. And we feel that this is a very important issue. Again, from a public health and safety perspective, it's not just professional athletes or the military. It could be your son or your daughter as well. And that's what needs to be taken into effect when we see these harmful products. So again, thank you again, Senator, for putting this forward, and we look forward to trying to support this bill with you as well.
Last but not least, someone who has joined us before, on this issue. He's an expert on physical fitness, Pat Dixon of St. John's University.
First off, just thank you for the opportunity to speak again to the family. There are no words. There are none. I work with young men on a daily basis, and I think the primary question that I like to bring to the table all the time is that if the military has chosen to ban it, if the NCAA has chosen to ban it, and if multiple other governing bodies have chosen to ban it for their sports, then who's really taking the supplement? And it's people who are uneducated. It's people that don't know any better. It's people that are, as you said, looking for an extra edge, and who don't necessarily have the education to understand that what they're putting in their body not only can hurt them, but that can kill them. And I think it's very interesting to me that it takes us so long to figure out what's going to hurt. And now we have this really unique opportunity to kind of get ahead of the ball and to realize that we can take a supplement off of the market, we can help save lives, and we can also educate the public on a topic that isn't very regulated. It's very, very loose. And there's this nice little phrase on most of the supplements. It says, the FDA hasn't evaluated the claims put on the outside of this bottle. And when you talk about a supplement that can elevate your heart rate and can do the cardiac issues that this supplement can, I have a major issue with that. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to all take a look at the supplement, to ask a lot of really good questions, and hopefully at the end of the day, get this stuff off the shelves. Last but not least, this isn't just a Vitamin Shop or a GNC thing. This is a Walmart thing. This is a Target thing. And all of our kids go into a store thinking that what they're going to get from a supplement aisle, from a food aisle, is going to be healthy. It's going to be okay. It's not like there's a pharmacist standing in the aisle saying, well, you shouldn't take that if you're under 18, or you shouldn't take that, or, I mean, Sudafed is more controlled when it comes to purchase than this stuff is. And I will guarantee you that this will kill a kid a whole lot faster. So thank you again for the opportunity, and hopefully we're able to get this thing going faster. Thank you.
As you know, our roundtable is going to start pretty quickly, but we'd all be happy to answer any questions.
What medical study is required for these supplements to come to market? And as a follow-up, what, if any, evidence exists linking DMAA to kind of negative health consequences?
Do you want to handle that, Dr. Cohn? Sure.
If you want to introduce a new ingredient supplements, you have to submit safety data to the FDA. And in the case of DMAA, that's never been done. It was introduced in 2006. 6 years later, no application to the FDA. So basically, the law was worked around, to say it politely. And in terms of safety risks, what we have is tragically multiple case reports that are completely consistent with the chemical function in the body. So it works exactly like ephedra does in the body, and the case reports are completely consistent that the same serious, life-threatening adverse effects can occur that have occurred with ephedra, those being strokes, heart attacks, death. There's one special thing, which is bleeding strokes, which are of particular concern. It turns out that DMAA is actually a party drug in other parts of the world. There, it's led to a series of bleeding strokes. Tragically, we've seen that right here with our own military soldiers as well.
Yeah, just to follow up on what the doctor said, the FDA really polices their own industry. Presently, the FDA did send a warning letter to all the companies that make or manufacturing DMAA or the products that contain DMAA, and that's where it stands. They're still on the shelves of stores, and unfortunately, easy access for our young people to buy it.
Senator Klein, can you just clarify for me what would be done at the state level?
The legislation I introduced is quite simple, banning DMAA in New York. We've done it before with ephedra, and I think we need to do it now so we can save lives. Anyone else?
Senator, have you had conversations with the Assembly, Senate Majority Leader Skelos?
Assemblywoman Michelle Schimmel has introduced my bill in the Assembly, and I think she's going to take part today in the roundtable.
Do you feel confident that it'll get passed?
I think so. I think, New York has to lead the way. We can't wait for the FDA to finally decide that this may be a dangerous drug. There was a long time period and many deaths that were caused for delay in actually banning ephedra. We want to make sure the same thing doesn't happen with DMAA.
Mr. Canseco, can you talk about meetings? Are you meeting with lawmakers today? Will you meet with the governor? And just your thoughts generally on Albany and the Capitol?
No, not that I know of so far. I was called to have this meeting today to talk about the pressures that athletes have and what they have to go through and what they're willing to actually do to get to the top. So that's what I'm here for.
What about other states or other forums? Are you advocating for this ban, or are you going around speaking to groups against this particular substance?
This is the first time I speak about it. I don't know how far it's going to go from here. We'll have to wait and see.
How often do you do something like this where you're lending your voice to a government issue, to a political issue?
Well, I was involved, I don't know how many years ago, with the steroid scandal, of course. And hopefully baseball's completely clean of that. And I was called upon. They told me about, I actually know about ephedra because it was used in baseball. And I know for a fact that ephedra is used as a party drug, like the actual doctor said. People tend to mix that. I think when these companies, I'll be honest with you, when they create these so-called dietary supplements, they figure out how to max out their revenue. And definitely how you max out the revenue is use it as a supplement drug, dietary drug, and they know it's a party drug also. So that kind of builds a wide range of buyers. So it's very interesting how they market a party drug as a dietary supplement. It's kind of it looks like to me it is a hidden agenda behind it. So I'm just here to help out and voice my opinion and have people understand what athletes at any age go through and what the risk that they're willing to take to get to be a major league ball player, a football player, or a basketball player.
Mr. Kinzinger, you mentioned steroids. In terms of the steps that have been taken by Major League Baseball, do you feel as though they've responded to development far enough?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm hoping the game is completely clean right now. And I think they took very aggressive steps, even though now we're hearing other rumors of players with these kind of clinics that they're in books or have sold them steroids in the past. There is no evidence of that, but I'm sure it's definitely, to me, they've taken an aggressive stance, and I think they've cleaned up the game almost, it seems like to me, completely right now.
Since you're talking about the game, your thoughts on this, the so-called steroid era and that players should be in the Hall of Fame? Down the road here.
Well, I don't think we're here for that, and I don't want to start discussing that. We have an issue at hand right now. Thank you.
Thank you all very, very much.